Hello friends, taking a look at Tesla today. Nice green day on Tesla. Nothing to write home about, but we did test and hold our EMA 26 on the daily time frame. We broke yesterday's high day, so that puts momentum in the bulls' favor in the short term. Daily resistance 245.95 from today's high day. Next on deck will be 248.71. Really, it comes down to the hourly time frame for Tesla. We're seeing a lot of chop back and forth. We're over the last couple days since the 27th, we've been in an hourly downtrend. The story really changed today at 239.13 when the bulls were able to turn things around in today's trading action, establishing a higher low over 236.11 and getting a higher high over 243.98. So that is looking good on the hourly time frame, and it puts us well in the trajectory of a high over 248.71. In order to do that, we're going to need to see the 15-minute bulls cool off. Our RSI is near overbought, 59. And we are in a little bit of a 15-minute uptrend, currently trying to establish a higher low on the 50-minute time frame at 243.35. We need bills to break over 245.95 to see that continue, and that will have us looking very well on the hourly time frame with a new low at 243.35. So should they fail to do that on the 4-hour time frame, what we're going to see is a loss of 239.13. We're going to lose potentially, well, the next support, I should say, is going to be here at 236.11. Below that, the next support would be 227.40. So a little bit of a make or break situation for the bulls. Nice to see the hourly bulls getting in charge, but they need to have some follow through, and we need to see that carry out on the daily time frame if we are going to continue outside of this area. If we fail to do that and we pull back, we're going to be looking for more of a long-term equilibrium, and it looks a little bit better on the weekly time frame. Here's our high, 266.07, our lower high, 253.50, and then our low, 211. If we go to the daily time frame, that's what that action looks like. So bulls really need to show a lot of strength on the hourly, set those higher highs, continue this trend, and break out of that weekly equilibrium. And if they fail to do that, we will just continue to see a tightening range. We'll see more volatility. And more importantly, will be a focus on short-term trading action and a continuation of watching these hourly trends. Hey guys, Jason here. We're taking a look at Netflix. Nice green day, very strong action on the 5 and actually on the 2-minute time frame for Netflix today. But the big picture is we're still in a daily downtrend. We rejected from our EMA 26, so this would be a perfect bounce situation where we bounce on the oversold on the daily time frame. We come up, reject from EMA 26 and continue to the downside. I've seen this happen many times, so I'm not going to be surprised if it happens to Netflix on the daily time frame. So play cautiously, not necessarily saying it will happen. It's just something that I'm going to be prepared for. So I'm going to be notably looking for a loss of 264.03. If we get that tomorrow, that will add to my little bearish sentiment here. But if bulls can get over EMA 12 on the daily time frame, I will be more optimistic. That high, the day's high rather, is 272.20. So here we are on the 2-minute time frame. Let's see that action play out. We saw a very strong response to the low at 264.03, got exhausted, broke our trend, and collapsed into a descending scallop into a support at 269 and a little bit of a bounce. Now we're in a 5-minute downtrend heading out the day. If we go to the 15-minute time frame, well, I shouldn't say that looks like a bear flag or a bull flag rather, because it doesn't quite fit the bill. More than likely, we're going to look at an hourly equilibrium, and we've got a long way to go. Bulls can go all the way down to 264.03 and still be looking at hourly higher lows and higher highs, so quite a range to play in. Keep an eye on that range tomorrow. We can see a lot of volatility in there, and really it all comes down to, do we get rejected from EMA 12 again on the daily time frame, and do we start seeing weakness, and is this just an oversold bounce on the daily time frame? Bulls need to show sustained strength. If they're able to do that on the 4-hour time frame, we don't have a lot of resistance all the way up until 287.32. So keep an eye on that, and good luck. Hey guys, Jason for TheChartGuys taking a look at Apple. Apple had a great setup, great run, hit a good high today, but pulled back in a big way. The market did not help that with SPY, as red as it is today. So we have daily resistance at 228.22. Above that, 233.58. Should we get back up there in the short term? But this profit taking and this new high has me looking for a higher low over 217.28. I'd like to see us come down, carve out some new support, and get that higher low, which would be better for a more sustained long-term continuation. 4-hour time frame reflects that pretty well. We're in an uptrend. We need to establish a higher low. Anything over or I should say anything over 217.28 is going to be important. We do have some support at 223.42, but not enough for me to consider that to be a higher low. Just a lot of volatility in today's action. And you see that reflected in our hourly chart as well. We're now in an hourly downtrend. Bulls need to stay over 223.42 to keep that up and get a new high over 228.22, but that was an overbought pullback. So we need to see what the bulls are going to do here. More than likely, we're going to see a continuation of this 4-hour trend, which, as I mentioned, does have us scouting for a higher low. Bulls are going to be tired after that run today. If they show up tomorrow, I will be very interested in looking for consolidation and continuation opportunities, given the fact that that hourly RSI's had time to cool off. But in the short term, I'm also open to the idea that we're going to have that 4-hour higher low, especially if the market has any sort of weakness tomorrow. All right, guys, taking a look at Amazon today. Tight trading range, not a lot of volatility, decent volume, and really comes down to the 4-hour trend that I am watching. We've been in this trend basically since, well, September 12th, the week of September 12th. And we've been moving around, setting lower highs, lower lows, and today was no different. We came up, poked ahead above that level, and then pulled back. So now what we're going to be looking for is a cycle to the downside and a low beneath 1709.22. Should we get anything other than that, we might open the door to an hourly equilibrium. But so far, we need to follow the trend. It's been working for us so far, and we will look for continuation until then. On the hourly time frame, we saw our high at 1755.60. We pulled back, rejected again from that trend line. So for the 15-minute bulls, what needs to happen is we need to set a high over 1745. And if we are going to break this trend, we need to do it conclusively. We need to do it on good volume, and we need to see a lot of sustained strength. We have opportunities to get above these levels, but we just simply don't have the follow through yet to get any sort of continuation. So what we can do in these situations is draw a zone of support and resistance. And I've done this before on many charts, but I'll do it here anyway. We take a parallel channel, draw it along our line, our trend line, and then we simply extend it to the furthest point that we've broken out of that trend. So back up here, I am connecting or just drawing along the yellow dots. And then this is the peak of our candlestick on this date. And then anything that we see on the hourly time frame that dips into this purple zone and pulls back is okay. That is in our zone of resistance. As soon as we break above that zone of resistance on good volume, on good support, then we're interested in a shift. That would symbolize to me a change on this overall trend, that we're breaking out of this 4-hour downtrend and seeing some upside potential. Until then, we're going to play the 4-hour trend and look for lower lows on the 4-hour.